Today we are looking at lists. So list, call it a data type or a data structure. It's all on you. A list can have any number of elements and they can be of any type. So let's just take one example. So let's call the list ARR and let's put some elements into the list. So to define a list, you can just put square brackets and inside you have to put in comma separated values. So let's take one, or I'm going to take also 1.5. So one is an integer, 1.5 is a float value. Now let's take another integer. Let's take another float value. Let's take 3.4. So there are four elements in this array now, or four elements in this list now, and we can access them using their indices. And remember, the index starts from 0 in lists. So suppose we want to access the first element, which is going to be taken from the first index. So since the index starts from 0, we have to put 0 in here. As you can see, the first index will be accessed using 0, and the value is printed out here, which is 1. Now let's look at the second position. For second position, you have to enter 1 here, and to access 2, which is at the third position, we have to enter index 2, right? And now let's look at what the index uh, corresponds to. So index 0 corresponds to 1, and similarly I'll just type everything around here. I hope this makes sense. And now if we try to get index 4, we will get an out of range error. You can see it's an index error, which means that this index is not available. Now we can also access the elements from the end. So let's go back to the array. We have four elements: 1, 1.5, 2, and 3.4. So if we want to access elements from the back, we simply have to use negative indices. So print ARR -1. -1 means the first element from the end, which is going to be 3.4. As you can see right here, 3.4. So index 3, the index positive 3 corresponds to -1. So if we keep on decreasing this number, let's go to -2. So we get the second last number. If we go to -3, we go to third last number. We go to -4, we go to the fourth last number. And if we go to -5, we will get an index error. Okay, now let's look at the append method in list. So, of course, we'll first check the type of this array. So you can see it's a list. We have to also print it's a class list. So we are going to use its method add dot append. Let's append some value to it. I'm going to append 5 here. And now we will look at the array. So as you can see, we have an extra element at the end, which is 5. So append only adds whatever number that you pass to it at the very end. That's what append does. Append adds at the end. Now let's look at pop. So what pop does is it returns the last value of the array of the list, and it also modifies the array in place. So let's take for example arr.pop, which means is going to remove 5 that we appended, and is going to also return the value. So by returning, we mean that we can also assign this value to a variable, right? And we can just say that print a was removed. So a is going to be the last element of this list. As you can see, 5 was removed, and we don't have 5 anymore in the list. If we run this again, then what will happen? 3.4 will be removed. As you can see, 3.4 is removed, and we have only 3 elements in the array. Now moving on to the insert operation. For insert, insert, you can just type this. So this is the syntax to use the index insert method. So the first one is actually corresponding to the index. The second one is corresponding to the value. So let's just use a uh, better variable naming here. Let's just use index 1 and val to be inserted. Let's just take to be 2.4. Okay, so we'll be inserting id value at index idx. Now let's look at the array. So as you can see, we have the index 1. So index 1 corresponds to this location right here. So what happens is 2.4 is added to this location and 1.5 is moved further. So as you can see, 2.4 is here and 1.5 and 2 are moved ahead. Now let's look at the remove method. For remove method, we just have to use arr dot remove 2.4. So whatever element, like if 2.4 is occurring in the list, then it will be removed. The first occurrence of 2.4 will be removed. As you can see, 2.4 is not there anymore. So let's just try adding more instances of 2.4 there, or some, yeah, 2.4. I'm going to do this again. So now you can see we have two 2.4s at the end. Now, if we try removing it, okay, now 2.4 does not exist in the list. So we get a value error. So as you can see, this value error is very descriptive as well. List.remove x, x is not in list. Now let's move on removing the value from an index. So like before moving on to this, let's just look at what the current state of our list is. As you can see, we have three elements in this list, and I want to remove 1.5 from the list. So 1.5 is at index 1. So I'm just going to use this keyword. This keyword is called del. So what this del does is whatever variable or whatever element I pass next to it is going to be deleted from memory. So let's just say array 1 because I want to remove the value at index 1. Now it is deleted. Now I will look at the array. So as you can see, 1.5 is not there anymore. So yeah, that covers the basics of list